Hey guys, and welcome. We're going to give everybody a couple minutes to get in here. And while they're doing that, I would like to point out two things. One, on the post that you see in the Facebook group, if you're watching this on Facebook and not YouTube, there are instructions for how to connect your Facebook profile to the platform so that if you have comments or questions, we can recognize you and address those during the class. The second part of this is that if your Facebook app or your Facebook browser is not set correctly, you may see the incorrect time. However, as you can tell, this went live at 1 o'clock, so the issue is not on my end, and I cannot play technical support for people's phones or their browser settings. That's really going to have to be something you guys take control of yourself. If I tell you that the class is going to be at 1 o'clock, it's going to be at 1 o'clock. That's something you can be absolutely sure of because I have to be the one that schedules it. So today we're going to be talking about something very exciting, and that is a way to augment the class that we did yesterday on spellcrafting or spiritual mind treatment using something called the one command. And so while we wait for folks to come in just a few minutes, we're going to dive in deep and take any questions that you guys have as we do this right after this. My glasses got a little bit fogged up from the coffee there. So welcome back and welcome to everybody as you're jumping in. Deborah, hello. Always one of the first to be here for the live class. I'm going to go ahead and initiate the screen share right now so that you guys will hopefully be able to see what I can see here. And so we're going to get started. The one command is a quick and easy method that you can use to augment your spellcrafting, augment the improvement that you're seeking to create in your life. It's a 6-step program that allows you to reprogram your entire being so that your whole being, body, mind, and spirit, begins to embody and manifest the changes in your life that you're seeking. Now, you make your command while you're in a relaxed theta state. And unfortunately, in a 15 to 20 minute class, I can't teach you how to get into a theta state. There are YouTube videos that I would recommend for that purpose. And you make that command in that theta, that deeply relaxed state. And that way, your command is connecting to source within you, which has a much greater power, a much sharper perspective than our own minds. So what you do before you begin the process itself is you're going to craft your command. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about. First, you decide what it is you want to change about your life. We talked about this in yesterday's class. If you are jumping in fresh and new and you haven't watched the program on spellcrafting, please watch that. And remember, this program is a year-long program that's designed every day to build on the next day's or the previous day's development. So every day we make a mind shift, every day we change a little something. And if you try to jump in the middle, you're not going to be as effective. Or if you skip classes because you think you already understand how to do that, or you think you're already bigger and better than that, we really offloaded a bunch of people who had that sort of diseased mindset in the first week or two of this class. And so if that's kind of where you're coming from, this might not be a good fit for you. We do encourage folks to start from the beginning and do whatever it is that we talk about each day. And don't try to do 10 days at once, because that's going to make it really difficult for you as well. If you want to get results, if you try to do it all in one sitting, you're not going to end up seeing the changes that you want. And classically what happens is those are the people that complain that things are going awry in their lives because they haven't been willing to do the work. So they're somehow surprised and shocked that they're not getting the results. In order to get the results, you got to do the work, period. There's no easy way about that, and I'm not the kind of person to pussyfoot around over issues like that, because we have to take 100% responsibility. So here's how we're going to craft that command. If you suffer from depression, you don't want to say as your command, I don't want to be depressed anymore. You want to put this in a positive statement. I feel light and joyful, or I feel grace and ease in everything that I do. Instead of saying I'm fed up of having a sore back, you say my back is comfortable and working perfectly. Instead of I can't get back to sleep, I sleep easily and deeply throughout the night. So we want to replace those negative statements that we're telling ourselves with a positive statement in the present tense. And that's really important. Not I will feel comfortable, not my back will feel comfortable, not I will have greater finances, not I will sleep easily through the night, but I sleep easily through the night. Now, that's the core work that you have to do to craft this. So if your spell that you crafted in yesterday's class is a spell toward attracting more money, then you're going to say money flows to me and through me easily and circulates all around me, returning abundantly multiplied. Okay, so your statement doesn't have to be a short little 3-word statement. Put a little bit of effort into it. Really make sure that you're declaring to the universe that one thing. The next thing you're going to do is ground yourself. Now, the easiest way to do that is just to close your eyes, to wriggle your toes and your fingers. Imagine the roots from the soles of your feet connecting deeply to the earth, and allow the power and the riches of the earth's energy to rise up through your feet, up through your body. If you practice yoga, we know this energy as Kundalini energy. If you don't practice yoga, that's okay. Just imagine a light, an energetic light, warm your body, starting up through your tailbone and moving its way up. The next thing you're going to do is in alignment with that, or in succession to that, is align your body with the earth's energy. So you allow this energy from the earth to rise up through your feet and come out from your heart, almost like a beacon, almost like if you think of a lantern, where that light from the lantern comes up and radiates out. This aligns your purpose with the unconditional love of the universe. And as you do this, you're going to relax more deeply. With your eyes still closed, roll your eyeballs up so they're looking up toward your eyebrows, toward the center of your eyebrows, almost like crossing your eyes with them closed. And you'll feel your eyes flicker a little bit. That takes you into a slower brainwave function, which is known as theta. It's a deeply meditative state. If you are somebody who already meditates, you already know how to get into that theta state. Follow your breath, deep breaths in through the nose, exhale through your mouth, and focus the attention right here at the center between your eyebrows, your third eye. All right, now I want you to imagine a golden channel of light coming up through the body and out through the top of your head. And as it comes out through the top of your head, feel it just almost burst into the magnificence of the universe itself. Allow it to take your awareness out of the top of your head, through the ceiling, through the sky, into the galaxy, right over the edge of the universe, as far as you can imagine that light spreading. And you'll notice a speck of white light that draws you quickly to it, and allow yourself to go through the darkness into that white luminescence. That's your mind's expression of source. Now you're really tapping into your power. Okay, the fourth part of this is something you shouldn't rush into. Allow yourself to feel that oneness, that connection to source for as long as it takes. When you start to feel your whole self, your whole person smiling, then you know that you're ready for the fourth step. And the fourth step is to take that statement that you crafted and preface it with the words, let me pull that up on the screen, preface it with the words, I don't know how I, ... insert your command. I only know I do so now, and I'm grateful. When we say the words, I don't know how I, what we're doing is we're short-circuiting that negative thinking that we've been programmed with for so many years. It's incredibly effective. And what I like about the one command is it doesn't require us to really get bogged down with understanding how it short circuits it. But I'll tell you just so that you know. Within your brain, there is a part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex, and the prefrontal cortex accepts what it hears. It doesn't discern whether something is correct or incorrect. So when we tell ourselves, I'm fat, I'm broke, why does the world always have to do this? When we see somebody who's caught up in the sort of what I call that whiny experience of life, where everything's about them and everything's horrible. Why are you picking on me? Why is it so bad that I want to be a positive person? Why is it so bad that I want to be a social justice warrior? Well, what you're telling your prefrontal cortex is that it's bad that you are that thing. And so when you wonder why you're feeling attacked, why you're feeling overwhelmed, why you're feeling invalidated, it's because you're the one who's doing the invalidation. You're the one who's doing the attacking, not anyone outside of you. And that's why quite often those people who suffer from the greatest negative self-talk, who need the most therapy and counseling, think the world is against them, because it shifts our perception. It really skews what's going on and what we really see in the world. And that's why there's a place in me that just wants so greatly to be able to have folks see with a clear perception. And I know that the only way I can do that is to constantly work on forgiving and loving myself for those times when my own perception is not clear. So we say, I don't know how I ... I only know that I do so now, and I'm grateful. Now you pause and allow that command to expand into its full capacity. For me personally, sometimes that means saying it a couple more times so that we're receptive to the insights that we receive and the greater perspective. As you start to say this, things start to shift in your mind, and you start to see the manifestation that began with your spell work that we talked about yesterday. You begin to see that, oh wow, that manifestation is really starting to happen. I can start to see the little pieces falling into place. And that allows you to be more deeply connected with your source, with that creative intelligence or universal mind, or if you wish, your God or goddess. And after you expand, bring yourself to a place of real gratitude, just as we did yesterday, where you receive with gratitude and you release what you're saying, and you kind of relax as you allow that gratitude to wash over you. Feel your shoulders just relax and soften. Feel the places in your body where you hold that tension. Just relax and soften into the place where this command becomes part of your DNA, and you don't have to understand how that happens. So I'll give you an example here. The way that if you say, if you start to think something, I put for an example, if you start to think, my back is still sore, this isn't working. Well, what you need to do is replace that negative thinking, that negative self-talk that you allowed to come through with something that is positive. So my back is still sore, I don't think this is working. You would say, my back is relaxing, I believe this process works for me. Now, how do we fit that into the one command? I don't know how, I believe this process works for me. I only know that I do, and I am grateful. I don't know how my back relaxes and releases the tension. All I know is I do now, and I'm grateful. So like many things, the one command gets easier with practice, and the more that we practice, the more that we engage the one command itself, the easier it's going to get for us. So what I would do is as you find yourself through the course of the day, and do this through the weekend, but this is something that I'm going to call on you to do many, 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 many more times. Both the spellcrafting piece from yesterday and the one command to support it, to augment it. until you get to a place where you can craft a spell and put that command out into the universe and know that the moment that you release it, it's begun to do its good and perfect work and will return to you abundantly multiplied. And so this is sort of the, if you will, this is the training wheels for spell crafting. This is a support tool, but don't think of it as training wheels the way that we did when we were maybe 6 or 7 years old and learning to ride a bike. Because when we were 6 or 7, there were bullies, willful or not, around us who were saying, "Oh, you still got training wheels on? What a baby." We need to move beyond some of that programming from our childhood. We need to know that these training wheels exist for whenever we need support. Maybe you're going through a really tough time and you've just uprooted everything in your life, and those training wheels can be there to comfort you, to help you over that little hurdle. And it's okay to bring them out every once in a while or every time. Do it as long as you have to do it. But what I want for you to do is to use that one command as the support system, not as your first go-to. It's less effective when you do it as a first go-to. When you use the spell crafting technique, the spiritual line treatment, as your go-to, then you begin to think in a more magical way. And that is the purpose, after all, of this year-long masterclass. So use it in that way, and I promise you that you'll start to find that when there's something, it's also really good. Let's say you're in a space, with a group of people, and you're getting ready to do a big presentation, and you start to feel, maybe you did all of the work prior to that. Maybe you did or did not craft a spell because this was just going to be something you were going to do, maybe for work or for something like that. And then you start to feel that anxiety right before the presentation. Just remember the words, "I don't know how and then all I know is I do now and I'm grateful, or I do now and I'm blessed, or I do now." It's whatever feels right for you. So right before going on and doing a presentation, very, very frequently, before I go out there, I'll say, "I don't know how I give my very best presentation of my life. All I know is I do now, and I am grateful." So we're just making that affirmation. It's going directly to the prefrontal cortex, where magic happens in your mind. And from the prefrontal cortex, it begins to change your biochemistry. It begins to change everything. It sends a message down the vagus nerve to your gut, where your mind starts to put those things, those pieces into place. And it becomes part of your DNA, truly. And so when I go out there on that stage, I give my best presentation of my life. I do that before I come in front of you every single time. That's why some of you have been on a conference call or something with me before we do the class. And I'll say a half an hour before the class, I need to be able to prepare myself for the class. Because I don't come into these classes. Now, I had materials to work from today, but I don't come in here with the script. I don't come in here with things that I expect and want to say. I come in here with an idea in my mind, and before I present, I put myself in that relaxed theta state, and I use the one command. I don't know how I give my very best to these people who have entrusted me with the care of their spirit and soul and minds. All I know is I do now, and I'm grateful. So I hope that's been helpful for you guys. Go ahead and drop a comment if this is something interesting, if you think this might be something that you can use. I could tell you that there have been so many times in my life, starting in the 80s, when I first learned of this concept in its sort of rudimentary form. I definitely recommend the book. I put a link, I think, in the description. But I started to use this as I was building my direct sales business, and I would go into the hotel rooms on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, and then Saturday morning we would do business opportunity presentations, followed by a training on Saturday afternoon afterwards. And before I went out there, I would say, I don't know how I give the best presentation I can. All I know is I do now, and I'm blessed. Or excuse me, I don't know how I outperform my recruiting record, from one week to the next. All I know is I do now, and I'm grateful. And so week after week, I would go out there and give my best presentation, and people were enrolling their new members and their new business partners and selling product, and it became just a thing of joy. And that's what will happen in your life if you bring this to whatever it is. Don't make it just about your finances. Don't make it just about your relationships. Don't make it just about healing. Don't make it just about your physical body. Let it be about everything. And wherever you start to feel tension, whenever you start to feel dis-ease, then use this one command to short circuit the process that would otherwise go from being dis-ease to disease. So there's a lot of power in that. You might want to watch this a second time. I think we've run about 20 minutes, and so I've got a couple comments here I want to share. Martha says, is it wise to focus on one command at a time? What if there are multiple aspects you wish to affect? That's a fantastic question. So what I would do is there's not an easy answer to that, depending on the situation. It might be that there are a couple things that are interrelated. Maybe you have a relationship issue that causes you to be stressed, and the stress gets held in your back, and as a result of the pain in your back, you respond to those around you in a bitchy way. That obviously just came from my personal experience, and that's something I'm mindful of doing myself. So for me personally, it's easier for me to focus on one thing at a time. So if I know that a relationship issue with somebody, a business relationship, a personal relationship, a family relationship, is causing me to hold stress in my back, and that's causing my back to hurt, which is causing me to be a dick to everybody else, then I have to go to the very beginning. So I work on the relationship. I don't know how my relationships begin to heal and mend themselves. All I know is that they do now, and I'm grateful. Now, I might immediately follow that after I let that go. And I'm not going to rush into it, but I'm going to let that go, and I'm going to sit for a while with that until I start to feel, and the only way I know how to put it is you start to feel a smile inside, like, hey, this is going to be okay. And the moment that I know that has really taken root in my whole energetic being, and then I would go to the next step and say, I don't know how the stress that I've held in my back is released, and my body learns to let go of stress in the moment. All I know is I do now, and I'm grateful. That I'm going to sit with that for a while, and I'm going to follow my breath, and I'm going to use the breath itself as, for me personally, I take a deep breath in, and as I exhale, I know that I'm releasing all of that no longer serves me. So I take the deep breath in, and on the inhale, I'm taking in that truth, and as I exhale, the shoulders soften, my back releases. Any tension elsewhere in my body is let go. So Martha says, this is very moving and helpful. I know you for 5 years, and I'm thankful for your very best every time. Don't make me cry, Martha. We already had that happen yesterday on a webinar, a medical webinar I was doing. So I appreciate that you appreciate this, and really more than anything else, I thank you, because having the opportunity to share with you guys as I do on a daily basis is the reason I can live my very best life, because it forces me to take that time, and that's what I'm going to leave you with today. The fact that I'm doing this class forces me to take that time to be in the present moment more fully, more deeply, and it becomes a habit. So I've been teaching this now for these things for 20, 30, 40 years. As a result, I'm living my best life more fully because those of you that allow me to teach you, are helping me to develop better attitudes, better habits, better mindset. And within this group, part of the magic that will happen in your life happens because your higher selves, as Scott McKinney noticed this morning, your higher selves are going to begin to work with one another. You're going to start, there's going to be conversations here, and there's going to be conversations here that takes place over and above us and in that ethereal space. And so the more you bring to this moment, the more you bring, as Martha did this afternoon in this discussion, the more that you're going to receive. And that happens for me on a daily basis. I receive abundantly more than I give you guys, and in return, I give abundantly more the next day. So it becomes a cycle. It becomes this amazing sort of what I call like a delicious addiction, that I spend this time every day on my personal development, and even better that I get to share that with you guys. And Deborah says, I'm smiling inside and out as I listen to what you're telling us today. And that's fantastic. Nothing could make me happier or make me smile more myself. So thank you, Deborah. And one final thing that I've been asked by a couple of you who responded to something I said in one of the previous classes about the financial needs that go hand in hand with running a program like this. Dr. Deborah Cannon asked if there was a way that I could post a PayPal link for anybody who wants to contribute a little bit each month. That would be fantastic. I would certainly appreciate that. One of my biggest challenges, having spent most of my adult life in a monastery, has been that I don't think of finances in that way, and so I don't think to ask for everyone to participate. But I will get a link up. I don't want anyone to think that I forgot that I had promised before we even started the class. A few people said, could you please make sure there's a PayPal link so that we can contribute a little bit each month to running this? That would be fantastic, and I would certainly gratefully appreciate that. That's one of the lessons in life I have to learn, and I'm not avoiding it. I just have had a chaotic day with running to doctors to prove that I don't need surgery, that my body is healing itself, and so I will leave you with one thing. One of the things I work on mindfully every moment, having had those 3 heart surgeries, is saying, I don't know how my heart has healed and continues to heal itself. All I know is it does now, and I'm grateful. I went into the surgeon's office today, and the nurse practitioner, took my blood pressure 3 times because she said it's impossible for your blood pressure to be this healthy. She says we see this sort of low healthy blood pressure in athletes, and I no longer am built like an athlete because of the spinal deterioration, and so she said there's no way that your blood pressure is that low. So I said, well, switch arms and knock yourself out. And the 4th time she did it, she said your blood pressure is extraordinary. And so when I tell you guys that this stuff works, and it works not just in sort of the ethereal aspects of our lives, but can work on the physical level of DNA, it does. So stay in the moment. Be grateful for what you've got and have a fantastic weekend. Allow this weekend to be a playtime for you when you play with some of those techniques that I taught you in spellcrafting. And then back up your spellcrafting with the 1 command. Watch what happens. Some of you have already shared, and I really appreciate that. Already shared yesterday how some of the manifestations of what you just learned have started to occur in your lives. And it isn't really that those things just started to occur in your life. They've been happening all along, but because you're fully participating, your awareness is in the present moment. So you're seeing how people say something, and that's something that they say manifests. They may not even understand spellcrafting, but because enough emotion is behind and intention is behind what they're saying, it manifests in their experience, good or bad. So if we become more mindful, we're able to start manifesting more good in our lives. So all I ask you is this weekend, just kind of stay in that moment and be grateful. Focus your attention on your words so that you understand that those words create your experience. And I'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend and know that the best is yet to come. I love and appreciate you guys.